Hey everybody, Motorport59 here. Again, I haven't put up many videos lately. I've been really busy again, and I just haven't had time to do any videos. If I didn't have a bunch of videos scheduled and stacked up for my main channel, I'd be a month behind on that too. Fortunately, I have a bunch on there. I used to do that on here. I would sit here take a couple of days during one week and go through a bunch of new stuff and make a bunch of videos, 5 or 6 videos that I just put up every day. But things are changing so quickly now that that just doesn't work anymore. It's funny that I say that because it seems like the more things change, the more they stay the same. But the Biden administration just keeps doing and saying some of the dumbest things and making some of the most ridiculous decisions that I've ever seen an administration make. It's embarrassing. You know, people say, "Oh, Donald Trump was embarrassing." No, Donald Trump wasn't embarrassing. The only people who were embarrassed by Donald Trump are his detractors. Everyone should be embarrassed by what's happening or concerned with what's happening with Joe Biden. He has some sort of a mental problem, and if it is something along the lines of Alzheimer's or some sort of a memory issue, he needs to seek treatment and he needs to be cared for. I don't hate Joe Biden. I just hate what he stands for, and I hate that he's being told and being allowed to say the things he has been saying and to make the decisions he has been parroting. Obviously, he isn't making these decisions. As I said, I don't believe he's capable of that. And that brings me to the point of the hashtag Putin price hikes and him just blatantly blaming Russia for gas prices, and that's just not the case. I have never been one of those people who believed that a president had the authority to affect gas prices in and of themselves, where he could just say, "This is what we're going to do. Gas is going to be more expensive. I'm going to call the heads of all these oil companies, and I'm going to call the heads, I'm going to..." No, that's... Gas prices, oil prices are driven by market speculation, but market speculation is based on decisions at the highest levels around the world, not just in America. And the decisions that the Biden administration has been making since he was elected, this whole "it's all Russia's fault" thing is bullcrap. Gas prices have been going up since the day he was elected. It hasn't stopped. It just got a little worse in the last couple of months. I don't know where it's headed. I hear people say $10 a gallon. I don't know. I don't know that it'll get that bad. I don't know when people will start pushing back. I remember in 2008, the pushback was about $4 a gallon. And when it went over $4 a gallon, people literally stopped going places, and the economy suffered for it, and things changed. The speculators weren't making any money because nobody was buying gas. I don't know if that'll happen this time or not, because I see people pissing and moaning and groaning and putting things on Facebook about gas prices, but traffic, and I live in Bakersfield, California, and I mentioned it to my wife the other day when I was coming back into town from Tehachapi. I haven't seen traffic this bad in years around Bakersfield. I can't believe it. I was out today running errands. It's incredible. It's like, where are you people going in the middle of a day on a Thursday? But my thing is, if you're going to piss and moan about gas prices, don't drive. I don't like the gas prices, but I got to go places. I don't have to go to work, and I understand people who commute are sometimes locked into that driving, but most people aren't. You can take public transportation. You can walk. You can ride a bicycle, get a motorcycle, something that is easy on gas. But don't get an electric vehicle, because that is exactly what this administration, the leftists that are pulling the strings, and the environmentalist lobby, it's exactly what they want people to do. I have seen over the last couple of weeks staunch conservatives on Facebook saying, "Oh, maybe I will get an EV. Maybe I will do this." Don't do that. That's what they want you to do. They are pushing their agenda. They're taking, like I said, they didn't jack up the prices. That is speculation. But that speculation is based on poor decision making by the Biden administration. Right now, that's what's driving that speculation. But blaming Russia for what's going on is just another pass off by the Democrats. It was Donald Trump's fault. Back when Obama was elected, everything was George Bush's fault. For 8 years, everything that went wrong was George W. Bush's fault. This is what the Democrats do. The Obama administration had no plan. They had absolutely zero plan, and they accomplished nothing because of it. Biden has been doing this, the Biden administration, not just Joe, everybody involved, the Democrats, everything is still Donald Trump's fault. Let's come up with a plan instead of a hashtag. There's absolutely no plan to help the American people right now. Remember when Joe Biden said that when inflation started jumping up, this inflation isn't going to affect the average consumer. Really? Well, it's affected the average consumer throughout history every time inflation went up. And I guess they're just hoping that no one remembers the 70s and 80s when inflation was just out of control. I bought a new car in June of 1985, and the lowest interest rate I could get on that car loan was 11%. But one of my coworkers bought a house during that time, and he paid 10.5% interest on his mortgage. And that is where things are headed again if we don't get this under control. The Fed is going to raise interest rates. Right now, they're very low. They weren't this low when the inflation started happening back in the 70s, so they may not get that high again. But but if inflation keeps going, it's up 7%. And if the Fed doesn't get their hands wrapped around this quickly, it's going to soar out of control again. We're going to have the same problems we faced in the 70s and the 80s with the economy just being in the tank. And it's happening already. And it's being reflected in the stock market fluctuations right now. But anyway, I cringe when I hear a Biden saying things like this. And what makes me cringe even more is that there are people out there going, yeah, it's Russia's fault. It's Russia's fault. We get, as far as the oil that is used to make gasoline, we get about 3% of that from Russia. The vast majority of the oil that is imported into the United States comes from Canada, and behind that is Mexico. And after that, it falls way off. Also, the Keystone Pipeline. I'm sick of hearing about it. I'm sick of hearing about it. I know that the conservatives think they want to beat Biden over the head for that. And so do I, because it should have been built. But if you hadn't canceled it, I don't think it would be finished yet or be able to be used just yet. They'd still be working on it. So it would have had very little to do with this because the railroads don't have a problem hauling all that oil. That wouldn't have affected our gas prices. All the things that are happening right now were things that the Democrats, and when I say Democrats, I'm talking about the liberal rank and file, uninformed, ignorant voter. These are all things. Trump was going to do things that caused inflation. He was going to put us into a recession at the very least, and probably a depression. He was going to get us into a war. Everything was going to get more expensive. And none of those things happened under Trump. We had a booming economy under Trump, and we never even almost got into a fight with anybody because nobody wanted to mess with us. It was just like Ronald Reagan. They knew he wasn't going to screw around, so they stopped screwing with us. Russia, North Korea, Iran, we didn't hear crap from them during the Trump administration. But as soon as he was gone, what happened? Everybody piled on because they knew that Biden and the Democrats are weak and they're going to make all the wrong decisions. So all those things that everyone was afraid Trump was going to do and said was going to happen under him have happened under Biden. So all you folks who voted for Biden, all you worthless rhinos who didn't vote for Trump because you didn't think he was presidential, I got something. The book is loaned out right now, but there's a book called The First 10. And if you think that today's presidential candidates, any of them aren't presidential, go back. It's about the first 10 presidents. Go back and look at that. Check that book out and see about what you think about what is and what isn't presidential. And just because it's on social media now doesn't make it any more or less acceptable. It is what it is. Get over it. Get your head wrapped around it. Stop worrying about presidents being presidential and start worrying about them getting things done. Because Biden, I don't know if he's presidential or not. I don't think so. We've never had a president that couldn't follow a script. We've never had a president that just doesn't know what's going on and seems to be so ineffectual. Not in my lifetime, anyway. So what about that? Is that okay? As long as he's not making mean tweets and doesn't have a weird-looking hairpiece? Come on. Wake up, America. All right. I don't have anything else to say about that. What do you think about that? What do you think about all this silliness? What do you think about this? Are your portfolios going down? What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Shoot me an email at motorpoet59@gmail.com. Like, share, subscribe. Click on the bell if you want to be notified of future content. We'll see you all later.